We're back here today. Special type of podcast. It's going to be all about the Boston Celtics. I'm your host, Keith Savage. Alongside me, Jakob Potemri and Marcus Pierre. How are you guys feeling today?
Really good after Monday night.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I was watching Romeo Langford hit the game-winning shot. But what'd you say again? I couldn't hear you.
I was talking about Romeo Langford is an overrated player.
All right, I gotta go. What's on? Yeah, I gotta leave. I can't take Romeo slander.
So let's go right into the preseason game. What did you think about Romeo Langford's performance?
I mean, he didn't get in until the fourth quarter, which is kind of weird to me. But same with Enes Kanter and Aaron Naismith, I think. So, first preseason game, can't overreact to it. But he played solid. I mean, he was pretty good.
About 2 for 2 from 3, right?
Yeah.
But he shot like 40%, something like that, I think.
And that clutch gene, just like I taught him, it's in there. And hit that big-time shot. Got the steal and hit the shot. So,
I had a feel seeing Al Horford back in the Celtics jersey.
It just
Legendary.
felt right. Yeah, it felt right.
He didn't look good in that Sixers jersey at all.
I couldn't stand it.
And for the first time in years, going back to even before Isaiah Thomas's teams, the Celtics finally have NBA players on their bench.
Finally.
For the first time in years. It was so nice to see former NBA starters, just as of last year, NBA starters. Dennis Schroeder started with LeBron and AD on the Lakers last year, coming off the bench for us. Josh Richardson started with Luka and KP on the Mavs, coming off the bench for us this year. And also, it's just a great time, great feeling. Al Horford, who had to be pulled out by Sam Presti himself because he was too good. Too good for a rebuilding team, is coming off our bench this season. I'm very excited.
Underrated signer, though. You know, I love my international basketball. Juancho Hernan-Gomez is going to be a big contributor for this team. He can do a lot of things. That was a big reason why Spain couldn't win gold, because Juancho was injured for the tournament. Got injured prior. And the Timberwolves said, she wanted to put his body in line and play. The Timberwolves said no, but it worked out for the Celtics because he was a big acquisition for the team.
It was weird to see him start that early because there's so many combos you can go to. So seeing Juancho start the first preseason game, I mean, Ime said don't look too deep into it, so I'm not going to. But he should be a big contributor to this team.
Yeah, he can play the 3 or the 4.
Yeah.
I was expecting Ime to go with either Josh Richardson or Horford.
That's what I thought
somebody who is more closer to how the Celtics play. I wasn't expecting Juancho.
Yeah.
But Juancho did play well, I thought.
He did.
In his start. Brad Stevens, when he signed him, talked about his cutting, and his cutting is phenomenal.
It is.
Could this be the second-year star, Aaron Naismith? Is he going to step up his game big time?
Well,
Aaron Naismith is the bench equivalent of the heart and soul of the Celtics team, in my opinion.
That's a fair point.
I think that what we saw from him at the end of last season and the playoffs and Summer League and everything he's learned so far, I think it's just going to come into full swing. He's going to come into games at the 3 or 4 off the bench, and he's going to dog on every possession, just like his teammate Marcus Smart.
And I think he desperately needed the Summer League just to get more run in for him. Because I think that boosted his confidence so much more. That's where going into this year, you already saw it, the first plays of the game, his name's coming up as hustle points. That's what, if Tommy was there, Tommy would be going crazy for this, man. He'd love Aaron Naismith.
It's Tommy Day until how many days are back? 15 days till the Celtics. But Aaron Naismith, I think the Celtics not participating in the G League in the small bubble they had, I think that affected Naismith a lot.
It did.
He was a guy who he's needed to boost his confidence, and the G League would have done that amazingly, but the Summer League, he showed off, and Peyton Pritchard also did. Is he going to boost even more, too? Even though he's kind of up there for a second-year play, 23, I think he is?
Yeah. But now there's this whole start Aaron Naismith movement, and that's where I got to draw the line. It's too soon for that. Maybe in a few years, but right now, there's too many guys that are better than him on this team to start Naismith.
More guys who are proven.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, we can't start him just yet, but can we play Marcus Smart and Josh Richardson together in the same lineup?
I think it's possible only for a limited amounts of time. I think that the lack of effective shooting that comes from Smart and Richardson is going to be a little bit of a problem because as much as you want to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum score every bucket, they're not going to be able to because teams are going to give them excessive, crazy amounts of coverage. So I think that's a lineup that I'm still not sure you could start with, but it's an interesting lineup that Ime, I think, can experiment with at times.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Josh Richardson, I want to say he has a long wingspan too, but
He does. You can just see it, the way he moves.
And also the way he slashes.
Yeah.
even though he had a 1 for 8 in the preseason game, it's just when he's on, he can easily give you 16 points a night. Off the bench, he'll probably be more down to like 11, 12, but a guy you can shoot and can play amazing defense. That's going to be a huge piece, and we saw if Marcus Smart went down last year.
We were missing that.
We were missing that
Yeah.
defense, and Josh Richardson covers that.
And that's the thing, like, with this team, or last year, you saw how, like, for the past 3-4 years, our bench points have been almost non-existent sometimes. So now you have those guys who come off the bench and can produce for you to the point where the pressure comes off JT and JB to always score 30 every single game. Now you can have Richardson. Now you can have Smart. Now you can have Horford. Now you can have Schroeder. Hernan Gomez can all score for you off the bench or in the starting lineup.
Even Cantor, even though he sucks on defense, but he can easily give you 10 points.
Even Romeo, too.
And
I don't know about Romeo.
Last year, NBA teams could figure out, because what Brad Stevens did is because the Celtics basically had nothing on their bench, they'd either keep Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum on the court at all times, and teams would know just to stack on them because they knew nobody else could do anything.
I think if you look last year, Cantor, him and Dame was just amazing duo, pick and roll, but Dennis Schroeder, I'm not saying he's like Dame, but they play a somewhat similar role at times where Dennis and Cantor could be a good duo off the bench, just them off the pick and roll.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, like, if you were listening to the audio with Scal and Mike, they kept on referring to Dennis as, like, the newer Rondo, which, I mean, you could see some of the movements here and there. It wasn't too much, but, like,
Rondo's passing was elite,
Dennis's
different
passing
level.
is as up there as it could be.
But the connection that Dennis and Al already have from the previous days, you saw it on their pick and rolls, that they're just there chemistry-wise.
They had that chemistry because they both used to play on the Hawks together.
Yeah, that was a good Atlanta team, too. They were a 1 seed.
So just having those two guys already know each other is going to be big for our team.
I want to see some Bruno Fernando. I liked him in college. I liked him somewhat off the bench, but I think Fernando could be a good piece, too, if injuries happen.
He could.
I'm a big fan of Bruno.
That front court is just so compact because you have who? You have Time Lord's not getting minutes, probably a starter. You have Horford, you have Cantor, you have Hernan Gomez, and then Bruno's, fifth?
Yeah.
So it's
and
it's just injuries.
And all of those guys are special because they can all do different things.
Exactly.
Garrison Matthews too. He can shoot that. He can shoot the ball good.
He's like a shooting guard.
Yeah, but he can shoot a three.
He can shoot. Yeah.
That's if same with injuries happen at our wing spots. I think Garrison Matthews, he had some 20-point performances last year at Washington.
Sam Hauser, our two-way guy, didn't look bad in Summer League either.
Like, the one thing that I loved that Brad did is that Danny, in the past, always brought in, like, these no-name guys for training camp that you knew were going to make the roster. But he brought in Ryan or something, Arcidiacono. Yeah.
Villanova legend.
Brought in Garrison Matthews. They brought
Juwan
in
Morgan.
Exactly.
You can't forget about the Brooklyn Nets bench star.
Theo Pinson.
Yeah, Theo Pinson.
So Brad brought in real guys who have a shot to make this roster over guys like Jabari Parker, over guys who are end the bench. So, like, the competition in those practices must be insane. Like, I'd wish I could see those practices one time because it must be out of this world to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So the whole group, it's going to step up big time, but 76ers, who's going to finish with a better record than the year? 76ers or Celtics?
That's going to depend, my bias aside, it's going to depend on what Ben Simmons and the team wants to do. Right now, Ben Simmons wants nothing to do with the team, and because his contract is so huge and because he still has a couple of years on his contract is very hard to move. But I think if the tensions still remain with Ben Simmons and the Sixers, then the Boston Celtics will have a better record than them at the end of the season.
You know, another guy, too, who's going to be in the package. Simmons gets traded is Tyrese Maxey, too, because they have the same agents, and supposedly Maxey kind of wants out. And I like Maxey's young star, but
he wants out already. It's been a year.
It's because they have the same agent,
okay.
Simmons
Okay.
and Maxey.
Yeah,
Rich Paul doesn't like it there. Simmons doesn't like it there. I don't know. It's up to... Only team I can see maybe trade for Simmons is the Minnesota Timberwolves, but...
Even that'd be like a weird fit.
Even the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, they don't want to give up any of their young guys.
Yeah,
So
Lowe would
who
only
would
be
they
the
give
guy.
up? Like they would give up Pat Bev's expiring and Taurean Prince is expiring. That makes Simmons' money, but why would the Sixers want that?
Yeah, it's his hard spot with Simmons right now because he doesn't fit like
And then
on any team.
Even with that, the problem then becomes like, even if he does return, which is not going to happen, that relationship with him and Joel and the rest of the whole organization is so broken that it can't be fixed at this point. It's too late.
I think Joel talked about the day how he called him up and he just didn't answer.
Exactly.
He wanted to meet up.
Like that can't be fixed anymore. Like they could talk for forever, but that's just too
and
far
Joel
gone.
also like broke down with Ben Simmons and said like, "Yo, we literally built this entire team around you. We got you wing shooters, we got you post up guys, and obviously Joel himself, MVP candidate.
Exactly.
It's
So
a team that's perfectly fit.
The
for Ben
76ers,
Simmons to
though,
play on.
I still think Tobias Harris one of the most underrated players
He
in
is.
the
He
NBA.
is.
Where if Simmons is hurt, he's gonna get a bigger role. But I
Tobias has
think if
always been
Simmons misses if he doesn't get traded to I don't know what December.
Once Al went to the Thunder, Tobias moved to the 4. It worked out so much better for him.
Yeah, we gotta remember too. They legitimately got Al Horford because Al Horford could clamp Joel Embiid.
But can we acknowledge for a second, like how much talent Philly brings in each year and how much they always underachieve? Like they had Jimmy Butler on the team at one point. They had Tobias Harris.
They just missed that Kawhi shot.
Yeah,
just missed them going
but it's like, how much more do you need to win at that
They
point?
had a chance to get Harden.
Yeah.
They would have had to give up Simmons. But
And
which
Maxey,
they
they don't want to give
up.
up Maxey too. Maxey was a big guy, but now they both won.
But then again, Maxey only played 2 weeks of NBA basketball at that point at the Harden trades.
He like when they all had COVID, Maxey broke out, and that's Strife and Harden do I get traded. And last second, they're like, we need Maxey in this deal, and they said no. Looks like they don't regret that now, but one of the other big threats that we have is the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving. What's going on with Brooklyn, you think?
Next question. I don't want to talk about Kyrie, but I mean, since we're here,
You think you look at the vaccine shot? How that's the big thing where
I
he
think,
can't play home games.
Yeah, I think it'll be like Wiggins, where he'll get it reluctantly. He won't want to. But
Wiggins and
KD is
Kyrie,
gonna-
you know their mind's still different.
I think it's going to come to a certain point in the season because Kyrie Irving's not worried about losing money. He's already made hundreds of millions of dollars. So I think it's going to be a thing where he's going to probably sit out the first 10, 15 games or something, trying to make a point with the NBA. And then then he might just come out and get the vaccine and decide, oh, I'm going to play. Like, we don't know with Kyrie. He's very unpredictable, and he's been like that even before since the pandemic.
Exactly. And we were talking about it earlier, where it's going to get to some point where KD and Harden are calling him up and say, get the vaccine or leave.
Yeah,
because we want to win. And we
they
can't
don't want to
win
break
without
the
you.
relationship up. Kyrie has no trade value too, they said.
Because, like, imagine the final start and Kyrie can't play the home games. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to... I mean, they might... Like, KD and Harden will eventually probably get on Kyrie's case, but right now, KD's saying to reporters, like, Kyrie's his own man. He can make his own decisions, but that's going to hurt you come season.
All right, stay in the playoffs. Most likely, we're going to play the Brooklyn Nets. Who's guarding Kevin Durant and who's guarding James Harden? Did Josh Richardson on KD and Smart on Harden?
I'd say give me JT.
I'd say put Tatum on Durant.
Yeah. And
it
then
worked out last year.
I'd say give me... Yeah, I go Richardson on Harden, Marcus Smart on Kyrie.
Yep.
I think that's the right matchup in my
Then you
opinion.
have
at least.
JT. You think
JT on
they're going to
KD.
have JT on a good amount?
I mean, it's happened last year, and it worked out kind of fine, I guess.
I think you could honestly, for some stretches too, you could put JB on Harden.
You could, yeah.
Because JB came into the NBA as a great defender.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on. The defending champ Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to talk about them too. Is Al Horford the guy who's going to guard Giannis?
I think so, yeah. I think it'll be him and Juancho. They'll be the two guys that go at him.
Now Juancho as well with 6'8". I don't know. I think Josh Richardson's going to have some parts of that.
With Giannis?
With Giannis.
How tall is Josh Richardson? Like,
Josh
what,
Richardson's about 6'6", but his wingspan's long. But it's also like they have Marcus Smart on like
They
guys
did
like
have
KD
that,
at times where I think a guy like Giannis tried that Richardson, but Al Horford's getting up there in age. He's not as good a defender he was 3 years ago. When did they beat Milwaukee in the first round? 4
I think it
years
was about
ago?
4 years ago, yeah, 2017.
Horford had him. Giannis Stopper's gone. Semi Ojeleye, they signed him.
Yeah, they had to go sign him.
Yeah, just like
Couldn't take
Philly.
any chances.
Celtics legend Semi Ojeleye.
I couldn't stand that guy sometimes. It's like he had one job to hit threes in the corner and couldn't even do that. So
our new guy who hits three in the corner, do you think
Romeo
Grant
Langford?
Williams is going to continue that role?
I feel like Grant gets overhated so much. Like, yeah, he took a step back last year, but he's still an NBA player. That means you have to be very solid to be in that position. So, like, his IQ is already up there. We already know that. Defensively,
he's very smart.
he's there. Had to he'll be okay. I promise you, he'll be okay.
He's looking a little more slim too this year.
He is. He said he dropped like I think 10 pounds, something like that. He said it on the broadcast on Monday.
Do you think it was too early to give up on Taco Fall?
I mean,
I think Celtics fans were just kind of treating Taco as a circus act,
Exactly.
especially at the end, and it wouldn't have been really healthy or beneficial to keep him around. And I'm happy for Taco. I'm happy the Cavaliers gave him that deal.
Yeah. Do you think, like, what are the Celtics thinking of Taco these 2 years? Like, what was their plan with him? You think?
I mean, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't know how Taco could fit in this league, honestly. Like, the most he can do is give you matchups based on, like...
I was thinking like a Boban type guy.
That's a ceiling,
Which
being Boban.
is good at times against certain teams. You saw Boban do that against the Clippers, and it was very good. That's what I thought Taco, they were trying to get him to. But
at the same time...
I think Taco just needs more time for development. Like, if you remember last year, the Celtics didn't run their G League affiliate, Maine Red Claws, which could have helped Taco a lot. And if you remember Boban, before Boban became a solid NBA player, he had to spend many years training and developing his game overseas.
he was a 2-time MVP in Serbia. Go stay. He didn't come to the NBA until he was about 29.
I'm thinking we might have to see a couple of years of Taco maybe distanced from the NBA or just spending as much G League time as possible before we can see what can come of his game.
Yeah. He's in the right spot because the Cavs can help bigs as much, like Tristan
They have a
Thompson,
lot.
Jared Allen.
And also, Taco's not going to be playing much because of all their bigs. So
Yeah.
he's going to get a lot of time for development.
Yeah, probably be off the bench. But so a new team in the East has arise, a lot of new talents. Boston Celtics and Chicago Bulls. Will that be a playoff matchup?
I think it'd be like the 4 or 5 matchup that's possible. Celtics at 4, Bulls at 5. I think that's definitely
Who
possible.
would win and
Yeah.
how many games?
Celtics in 6. I don't buy the Bulls yet. Because
The Bulls are... I don't even think the Bulls can even be a 5 seed yet. I think the Bulls might seep around a 7-8 seed because of their
Wow.
lack of defense.
Wow.
They have... look at the whole team. Zach LaVine, a little bit of a weak defender. Lonzo helps out a little bit, but then DeMar DeRozan, weaker defender. Vucevic, weaker defender. And Patrick Williams, he's going to be out for a little bit. He was a promising young piece for them. We'll see how it happens, but I don't think until the Bulls become more of a two-way team, I don't see them doing too much in the East.
All right, say we play them. Do you trust Robert Williams and Nikola Vucevic?
Yeah, but like also going to Jacob's point is that if you look up and down our roster, who has actually consistently won on that team? DeRozan, to what extent?
DeRozan's going to be LeBron.
Exactly. Vooch, to what extent has he won?
I don't think he's ever made the playoffs.
He hasn't won 4 games in a row ever in his entire career.
Then
So who's won on that team
don't have
consistently?
anybody.
Exactly. So that's why I think if Rob can guard Vooch to an extent, you're going to have Al there. And you'll have Canner here and there. But, yeah, I think it's going 6 if we could play them. It'll be a quick 6.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting team. It's just, I wish the Celtics made a bigger push for Lonzo, honestly. I think Lonzo would have been amazing if it. The money is a lot, but he would have been great on the team.
I really like Marcus Smart as our starting point guard this year. He's finally taking his rightful position. He's had interviews with NBC Sports Boston for years saying that the point guard spot is his natural position. He's always had somebody to kind of slide him to the shooting guard spot or have him come off the bench. We had Isaiah Thomas. We had Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving. And he never really got to come out and play that true point guard role. And I know all his concerns about him being a shooter, but that's not exactly what he needs to be at the point guard spot, especially when you have 2 of the best scorers in the NBA in your starting lineup with you.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Smart's playmaking is going to take a huge jump. His defense is going to... I think his defense is going to go back to all NBA defense, especially with how hard the guys are trying around him.
Yeah, definitely.
What will Marcus Smart's 3-point shooting percentage be at the end of the season?
90.
Let's go 35. I like that number.
Yeah, I'd say like 34, 36,
maybe.
something around there, yeah.
I'm going to say, I'm going to a little high. I'll say 37.
Okay.
37. That's nice.
For Marcus
I think it's going to
Smart.
be a decent, but not too crazy, but
Marcus
he's on,
Smart
he's
also,
on.
like, we know he likes to chuck up his threes, but I think he's going to be a little more conservative with the shot taking.
He should. And I see what y'all are doing here. How we talked about virtually everybody on that team besides one person.
Romeo Langford will not have a big role in this team.
Why is that?
I'll explain after this break.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the partnership.
5-day break.
And we are back, baby. Romeo Langford, Boston Celtics. How big a role will Romeo have?
I think he'll be like, first we got to realize or figure out how deep Ime will go into his bench. Like, we paid 10 guys, 11 guys. I don't know about all that. But I think he could, starting five is what? Marcus, Josh Richardson, we'll put in here for now. JB, JT, Time Lord. And you have other Dennis, Al, Peyton, Juancho, Naismith, I guess. But then that's 10 guys. But that Naismith position is kind of...
It's up there.
Yeah.
Depending on the night too, Cantor.
That's true. But I think it will be like Romeo and Aaron going back and forth for that one spot. So I think he'll have those
also,
games.
I think Ime will go pretty deep early in the season.
He definitely will.
He's going to want to see what works.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to have our center spot based off matchups? Like some games Time Lord starts, some games Al starts?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think for some NBA centers, you're going to need somebody with as much veteran experience as Al.
Exactly.
And also, you don't want to play Rob at a crazy amount of minutes because of his risk for injury, especially since we're giving him that contract extension.
Yeah.
All right, say we go against Milwaukee Bucks. What is he starting five?
All right, I'll start. So what's their starting five?
So you're going to have Holiday, probably Holiday at the two. Why can't I think of the point guard right now?
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo's going to be back. He's probably going to make another big jump. So Dante at the one, Holiday at the two, Middleton at the three, Giannis at the four, Lopez at the five.
Okay. I'd say Marks at the one. They have Drew at the two. I put Josh Richardson at the two. 3 JB, 4 JT, 5 Al Horford.
You
Got
want
JT on Giannis.
I mean, for
JT
now.
on Lopez.
Yeah.
That's what they were trying. They were trying that Phoenix.
Yeah. We could switch it here and there, but yeah, that's what it would be. What about you?
Yeah, so I don't know how well this is going to hold up, but maybe a double big between Giannis
we haven't talked about that
and
yet.
Brook Lopez. I think the double big has been, last year it was really bad because we had Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson at our 4 and 5. But I think this year, on some nights, not all nights, I don't think this should be the definitive starting lineup. But I really like a Marcus Smart at the 1, a Jaylen Brown at the 2, a Jason Tatum at the 3, an Al Horford at the 4, and Robert Williams at the 5. I think this gives Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum a little bit of an easier time on the defensive end. Tatum's defending Middleton, and Jaylen Brown's defending either DiVincenzo or Holiday, so that they can both be more productive on the offensive side of the floor. Whereas on the defensive side of the floor, Al Horford, he's going to get involved on the offensive end, obviously, with his passing and his top of the key game. But I think Al Horford on Giannis, and potentially also to switch to Lopez, could be something fun to see on the Celtics in terms of defense.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm going to move on. So in the summer, we saw one of our old second-round draft picks play a little. Couldn't play this year, but potentially next year. Yamadir, what do you think about him?
I mean, he had that first game where everybody was ready to crown him as the next best player in Boston history. But after that, he kind of took a step back a little bit. And I think he has a lot of potential. He just needs more time to play the game, and he'll be all right.
Yeah, Yam, I was big into him.
Yeah,
It's just the way
I
he
like
plays.
that Brad Stevens isn't trying to rush him either.
Exactly.
He's going to keep him overseas for one more year
Yeah.
and develop his game.
Yam wanted to play because he didn't like the team he was in, but I think he signed a new deal with the new team for like a year.
Yeah.
But he'll be on the roster next year because Dennis Schroeder, do you think he'll get traded mid-season? Because he's only 1 year contract.
I think he'll play out his whole contract and move on next year.
I think he's gonna I think next summer he'll want to test out free agency.
Yeah,
he tried that this year, and he lost a lot of money.
He did. I don't think he'll get moved this off.
$20 million to play with LeBron and AD.
But that could be
I'm just gonna
big for the Celtics. Guy who's trying to get a big
It
contract.
could.
He might ball out because he's had those games where he did great.
I'm just hoping he really doesn't go crazy and he doesn't distract from the rest of the team. As long as he remains a team player, I think Dennis Schroeder trying to prove something could work.
Look how good he was on the OKC team off the bench. He was sometimes
I think
started.
Dennis Schroeder could be our sixth man, and a potential sixth man of the year candidate.
He could be, definitely, because he has the talent to do it.
He did it already only 2 years ago. It's not like it was that long ago. Two years ago? Because he was only on the Lakers for a year.
2 years ago.
He has that talent.
Definitely.
Romeo Langford, though, I think he won't be on the team next year.
Here we go again. Y'all just don't want to see this man shine.
Well, what has he done?
He's been hurt his whole career, so what could he really do?
What did he do even before that? When he's healthy, what has he really done? Except for maybe 2 highlight plays.
2, okay. But play exceptional
3 maybe.
Defense.
Exceptional.
Exceptional defense.
Whoa.
I will show you. Last year, I showed you the videos of him guarding LeBron, and he played exceptional defense on everybody who he plays.
Who he plays.
Yes, he'll mess up here and there, but he plays exceptional defense. He has a great IQ, and then this whole entire summer, every single game played in Summer League, he had one highlight play. Again on Monday, had a highlight play. Should I say more? What do you need him to do? Score? He can do that too. Pass? Do that.
Romeo just needs to build his confidence.
That's all it is.
Some consistency.
And that comes through playing the game more.
With how deep our team is, depending on how much he can play.
Yeah, it might be a little bit hard.
I'm just hoping Romeo will be able to get the minutes he deserves in order to build upon what he's already brought into the NBA in his game.
And I just want to add on to that because Keith has always been a Romeo hater, but he always said the guy we should have drafted was Sekou. I don't know his last name.
Dembaya. He still needs another chance.
But look what happened today.
He got cut.
He got cut. That's crazy. He got traded and then cut.
Once he gets a good
Romeo
chance.
is still on the team. It's crazy how that works.
All right, I'm going to ask you, what do you think Romeo's 3-point percentage was last year?
How many games did he play last year?
He played 18.
And how many threes did he attempt per game?
1.
Ooh. Yeah, that's tough. 1 3 a game? I'd say it's like 20%.
You want to go his whole career then?
He's played 40 games. 50 games. Something what?
He's probably averaging about 0.9 3-point attempts.
Exactly. Less than 1 3 a game.
Yeah, but what do you think his percentage is?
Well, if we're talking basketball here, having to step in for 2 minutes, take a 3 is tough off the bench for 30 minutes. So I'd say it's like 27%, 19%.
Yeah, right around. Last year he averaged 27%.
Yeah.
The year prior 18. But what about his field goal percentage? Is that high? Is that a good percentage?
Well, once again, how many shots take for the
last
games?
year? 3.3 attempts. The year prior 2.5.
And how many?
He's at about the same percentage.
And how many minutes?
Last year he averaged a little over 15 minutes. The year prior 11 minutes.
Well, a lot of those were in garbage time minutes, anyways.
So you should do better in garbage time.
Not really, because if you're on the bench the whole entire game, having to sub in.
There's a reason why he only goes in garbage time.
Because he was hurt.
Because he's garbage.
Oh my gosh! And where's Sekou? He's cut on the street.
Well, he'll come back soon. He has talent.
On whose team?
He might have to go a year overseas and he'll come right back to the NBA.
Romeo won't have to because
Romeo won't be in the NBA in
roster.
4 years. 4 years.
You keep on.
And
you said it about Time Lord. Look what happened. You said
Time Lord. I still don't think that contract's a little bizarre. He still cannot guard the pick and roll.
The thing is with Boston is that I don't know how it always works for them, but they always give out good contracts. Like when JB first got his deal, it seemed insane. He got that much money. Look at him now. It's a bargain at how good he is. So Marcus Smart, when he worked out that deal back like 2016. It was crazy. Now he's worth it. He got another extension again. So with Boston giving out those contracts, I never get too upset because I know that they'll turn to player they should be. So
I still think there's something at Time Lord where there's so many people that can do the same type of role.
Like who? Who can do what he can do? Can jump that high? Can block that many shots? He had 9 blocked into the Nets. Who can do that? Tell
You
me.
know who you're describing perfectly in his prime, that I've compared a lot?
Who?
JaVale McGee.
But JaVale McGee can't do that right now, though.
Now.
Who right now could take his spot?
Clint Capella.
Jackson Hayes.
Clint Capella's like, what, a top 10 center in the league? Jackson Hayes is
Jackson
not
Hayes
true.
is young.
Not
but
true.
he can do a similar type of role.
I will not take Jackson Hayes. Clint Capella,
Of course, right
yes.
now, I'd rather have Time Lord than
Exactly,
Jackson
yeah,
Hayes.
right, yeah.
But Jackson Hayes, on a much less contract, young guy, he can jump high. He's 6'11", has the long wingspan. He can block a lot of shots, but both cannot shoot and both cannot guard the pick and roll.
I think they both came in the same draft, right? 2018? Is that what it was? They both came out?
Hayes was 19.
This was 2019.
19? All right, so...
He was drafted way too high. I never thought. He was drafted like 8th. Which
That's
I
crazy.
always thought when he was drafted. I watched him in college, and I was like, he was solid, but he wasn't a lottery pick, I thought.
But once again, you admitted it, that right now, Jackson cannot do what Robert does. So tell me, in the NBA, at that age that he is, who can do what he can do? Clint Capella, he's older than
I'm
him.
trying to think of some guys his age.
You can't think of them because they're not
I was
there.
thinking of
Nicholas
players.
Claxton, no.
Claxton's been hurt really bad.
Jared Allen, okay.
I'm gonna try
Okay.
that Allen Time Lord.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, Jared Allen, okay, that's fair. But who else?
Trying to think of dudes.
Or name a center you want over him. No, let me not do that. Yeah, let me.
All
not do
right,
that.
say right now, 1 year, just this one season. We'd rather have Time Lord or Dwight Howard. We're not going to the future just for this one season.
This one season, give me Time Lord.
Go on.
Easily. Because what can Dwight do for you right now? He can't shoot the three. He can't
Time
shoot
Lord
at all.
can't. Time Lord can.
Yes, a little bit. He can't hustle. Yeah, what can Dwight give you? Because we saw last
He's an
year.
amazing
what did he do?
rebounder.
So was Rob.
But he's a better rebounder than Rob.
But who's better lob threat? Rob is. Better
Right
passer.
now, yeah, I'd probably go Rob.
Rob
because
is such an underrated passer. That's a better passer, better lob threat, better shot blocker. What more do you want from him? So I take Rob in a heartbeat.
That's the only problem is just like the teams we have to go against. Where we're like out Brooklyn, he won't have to do much because Aldridge is going to be more pick and pop type guy, and Blake Griffin. So we're lucky out with him. And then Milwaukee's what kind of scares me with them because you can't leave Lopez wide open from three because Lopez is going to stay in the 3-point line.
That's where his only weakness is that he's such a good shot blocker. When you move him away from the basket, the whole paint is just wide open.
Yeah, that's
the one
how
thing.
they do with Giannis. That's
Yeah.
my only concern. Like for Milwaukee's gonna be out there the next few years. It's just going how it work out and say who's other threats? If you will, Chicago. He can't guard Vucevic. I don't think he can guard Vucevic.
That's gonna be mostly Al's job to guard Vooch, I think.
Then who,
On a
like
night-
when
on a
he's
night
out
we have to
there.
face the Bulls. The Celtics should start out.
Well,
Yeah.
who's their starting 8-5? You got Lonzo, Levine,
DeRozan.
DeMar, and Williams or Thaddeus Young.
Yeah.
Is
And
right
then-
Thad Young still on the team? I'm pretty
I
sure.
believe
No,
he's-
Thad Young,
he's
I
not?
believe, is on the Spurs.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
think
wow.
he
Get
is.
traded.
All right, so healthy Patrick Williams
And then Vooch.
and Vooch. Where are you gonna have Time Lord start in that game?
But once again, they're good offensively. Defensively, how
Defensively
are
they're
they?
not that good.
Exactly.
But like I'm talking about, like will you still start?
No, I'll start that game. But I think Rob will kill him on pick and rolls.
All right, Atlanta will start against Capella.
Yeah,
Philly,
I'd start Al over.
you go
Rob.
Al.
Al over.
Because
Yeah.
you'll have
For
Tatum
MVP.
on Tobias.
Mhm.
Who knows how that team's gonna look? We just know Tobias and Joel both gonna
Will
be on
be
that
there.
team.
Against the Knicks, you start Rob against Mitchell Robinson.
Definitely.
I don't think the Knicks is gonna be. I think that was a fluke year.
What the Knicks?
And
That's
they showed in the
it's
playoffs.
the Knicks and the Hawks that I just don't buy them as contenders yet.
I don't think the Hawks contender, but I think they're second round team.
So who's your 1 through 8 right now in the Eastern
All
Conference?
right, well, number one, I'm staying with Milwaukee.
Okay.
Number two, the Nets. With those 1 and 2 close. And then number three, if Simmons was fine, I would have had them. But right now, I'd probably go the Celtics.
As you should.
Then 4 or 5, probably Philly. I want to say
Miami.
Atlanta.
Hey, where's Miami, in
Miami.
that with Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry, Jimmy
And-
Butler.
I would probably have them
Oladipo?
at 6 and Chicago at 7.
You want
Miami at
Atlanta
6?
over
Yes.
Miami?
I think Atlanta. They're going to be a good regular season team. No
That's
question.
true. They will.
If they can stay healthy. that was another problem. They couldn't stay healthy. Capella was hurt a lot.
Jake, who's your 1 through 8?
1 through 8. 1, I'm going to go Brooklyn. 2, Milwaukee. 3, Boston. 4, Miami. 5, Philadelphia. Actually, I'm going to go 5, Atlanta. 6, Philadelphia. 7, Chicago. And 8.
Probably go Charlotte.
I'll probably actually.
Yeah, I forgot about them.
I think the Knicks could go back to the playoffs. I'm going to say Knicks 7, probably Charlotte 8. I don't think the Bulls make the playoffs.
Wow. Hot take by Jacob. Bulls not even making the playoffs.
What do you have, Marcus? 1 through 8.
I'd say Brooklyn number 1, Milwaukee 2. I don't want to put Celtics at number 3. I feel like there's somebody better than them, but I can't think of who is.
Yeah, it's like I think the Sixers could have a better regular season record, but there's 2 weeks left in till the regular season starts, and
Simmons nowhere to be found.
Simmons is nowhere to be found, and like they're not gonna have a trade most likely set up.
So I put Boston at 3, Miami at 4, Chicago at 5, Indiana at 6. Who else is there? I put Charlotte at 7. I'm forgetting somebody.
You see Chicago?
You think the Hawks won't make the playoffs?
Right. So
the Hawks.
Scratch that. So Boston at 3, Miami at 4, Atlanta at 5. Who would they have at 5 before them? Indiana at 6. Charlotte at 7. I'm leaving somebody off again.
Philly?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So scratch that again. So Boston at 3. Miami at 4. Atlanta at 5. Philly at 6. Indiana at 7.
Chicago.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Last time. So it's going to be Nets, Bucks, Celtics. Top 3 seeds. Miami at 4. Chicago at 5. Atlanta at 6. At Indiana at 7. Charlotte at 8. That's my 8.
So I noticed, Keith, did you have the Pacers in your...
I don't have the Pacers.
So, Marcus,
it's just health.
So, I don't think the Pacers are going to go to the playoffs this year. I think their double big situation is still very wonky, and I don't think they exactly have the team or the chemistry or the coaching staff that can exactly get them to that point. Why do you have the Pacers going to the playoffs this year?
Because, they're just so... they're always just so average. Tell me the last time Pacers have not been this
health,
average.
and it showed. I always thought Nate McMillan was one of the most underrated head coaches in the NBA. And he went to Atlanta, did 30 games, and they made the Eastern Conference Finals. And Indiana, they lost in the play-in, right?
Yeah,
that's just the thing. And they've always been injured.
I think Indiana is they're never great. They're never terrible. They're always just in the middle of the pack somewhere.
All right. Yeah, but I think this year the Eastern Conference is more talented.
It is, but
I think go back to, I don't know, about a year ago. No, less than a year ago, actually. Indiana. We almost got Miles Turner. Do you regret the Celtics on doing that Gordon Hayward move?
He wanted Turner.
He wanted Turner and T.J. Warren. They weren't doing that.
But it was Turner and Doug McDermott for Gordon Hayward. I wouldn't do that right now, looking back on it, because that was from the growth of Time Lord. So, and then if that's the case, Al doesn't come back. So with no Al, it's I don't know.
Turner's
he's good.
He has a good ball now too. Would you rather have Time Lord or Miles Turner for this one season? Miles Turner. Close.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that. I'm glad we didn't make that move, because we also wouldn't have gotten the Hayward trade player exception.
But for what though? Evan Fournier?
Evan Fournier, but remember, when the Celtics traded him to the Knicks, Brad Stevens made sure to get a $17 million trade player exception that we still have to use.
Yep.
And if the Hayward TPE never happened, we wouldn't have gotten Josh Richardson.
I love Brad so much.
You know what guy I think could maybe... I think he's on the last year's contract.
Who?
Malik Beasley?
He is. He could be an option.
Even though he's been in some legal trouble, but maybe Minnesota wants to get rid of him, and we have that exception.
Yeah, he'd be a great fit.
But all right, for the last part of the show, final record, and where will the Celtics finish? It's October 6th, 2021. Where will they finish?
All right, I'll start it. Celtics finish as the 4 seed, not 3 seed, as a 4 seed. Make it to the second round and lose in 7. I don't know.
What's the exact record?
Record is like 55, and I can't do math.
27.
So like 27. Yeah, I think that's what. That's too much. I'm gonna go like 49.
49
That's
under 50.
51, and whatever the other lost record is. That's
31.
Mine. Yeah.
That's your final one. Second round exit, 51, 31, 4 seed.
In 7. Losing 7.
Jacob, what do you have?
The 2021-2022 Boston Celtics will finish as the 3rd seed, 52-30, and will make it to. This is my most stable prediction. They will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They will lose in 6 games to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh.
And I think it'll be a hard-fought series. Could have the potential to go 7 games, but I'm going to keep it at 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But part of me also really wants to say the Celtics sneak their way into a finals trip, but I don't know about this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to have them 51-31, have them as a 3 seed, and lose second round to Brooklyn. But that if, say, Kyrie goes crazy, they're going to lose in the East Conference Final to Milwaukee. But my bold prediction for the season, you guys can say yours after, is Jason Tatum's going to have an MVP caliber season.
Is that really bold?
But I mean, that'd be a huge jump still. But I think he's going to finish the year in top 10 voting for MVP.
That's fair. What's yours?
I think for just any kind of bold take.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do whatever, Celtics or NBA overall.
Bold take, I think the Boston Celtics have a strong chance, very strong chance, to go to the NBA Finals.
I think mine's like very, very bold. Milwaukee will not get past the second round.
Oh,
because
will there be health problems?
I think that if they see Boston in the second round, Boston has always played Milwaukee so well. I don't know why. But
we don't want to talk about that Kyrie team. They lost in 5.
Yeah, but even it's Kyrie's fault. Forget about that.
We were also hurt.
Yeah.
No JB, no Kemba, no Time Lord.
I don't understand why it happens, but we always play Milwaukee so well. So if they go to 7, I think we could beat them in 7. But I don't think they go to the conference finals in the East. Milwaukee.
Damn. Well, we're gonna there, but actually, I have one final thing. Not Celtics related, but biggest sleeper of the season. I think he'll be an all-star in 2 years. Precious Achiuwa wins Most Improved Player of the Year.
Wow. Most player, Romeo Langford. I stand by that.
Anything last things you want to say? Any bold predictions? Any more?
Any last notes? Robert Williams per 36 stats will be somewhere along the lines of 20 and 20.
Oh,
wow. I like that.
That's a perfect way to end off the show, but stay tuned. We'll be back next week with more. That's it. Boston Celtics predictions over. Stay tuned for more.